Islam family.
Islam.
All praises are due to Allah. The highest of honors to His holy and divine Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I cannot say it enough. We give all the praises to Allah. I don't want to get too religious, but we all know the power of the one who is the cause is cause and the root is root, from which all things are formed. Islam. How many of us are familiar? Well, how many of us is that this is their first time in the Moorish Science Temple of America? Islam. All right. Praise Allah. So, the Moorish Science Temple of America is an institution that was designed to raise up those that were called Negro, Black, and Colored to a higher standard, to return to them their nationality and their divine creed by way of Islamism. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not the nation, and our nationality, before I go any further, is Moorish American. As the brother Akil said, we are Moorish Americans because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. We are truly Americans. We are born on this land. So this is the flag of our nationality, and this is the flag of our descent, or our standard, which represents the highest principles that are known in man, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And this banner, keep in mind, this is a banner. This is not a flag because this represents the ideal. But this is the ideal that every man has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and has the right to establish their own legacy. Islam. So that represents that ideal. Our prophet wanted to put us back into that constitutional fold because under the names of Negro, Black, and Colored, we were devoid of that. We would be reduced to the abuses by those that are to be citizens of the United States of America. All right. He did that with a comprehensive program, again, that has a foundation of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I know that may sound pretty rudimentary, but those concepts itself, I'm going to write them down. These 5 principles may seem simple, but when we ponder on these concepts, we can see that not only are these concepts or these virtues just as real or more needed than ever, they are divine. In our Moorish Holy Qurans, one of the first pages, it says, "Learn not, know thyself and thy Father God Allah, so that you may learn to love instead of hate." Islam. So these right here, these principles, the first one I want to introduce you to is love. When was the last time? Well, let me ask you this. Think about this. I'm not going to put anybody on First Street. Think about this. Did anybody tell you that they love you today? And if they did, how did that make you feel? All right. See, I'm only going to speak for myself, but I can bring this back to the concept of being a Moorish American. Is that love is a mindset. It's not just an act of what you do. It's a mind. It's a psychology. So when you love somebody, you do things in the actions of love.
That's right.
All right. So that paradigm, that thought process, that psyche, that is within you. So think about the time when you said you loved someone, and what did you do for that person? And then of course we know that there's different degrees of love. You may have love for your mother, have love for your brother or your sister, have of love for your significant other. Think about the things that they've done for you or you've done for them. That is the action of love. And then think about when you had that concept of hatred. Hatred is a mindset. It's a disease. And think about the things that you did not do, or the things that you did that was, I'll go out on a limb and say that was malicious for the act of being hateful. And then think about that being carried over to not just you hating that other person, but you're hating yourself.
That's right.
Because in the moral science of America, our prophet teaches us that when man honors man, he honors that Father God Allah. And what man does for man, he does for that Father God Allah. I'm looking at the spirit of Allah, in which I'm looking at myself in these roles, right then and there. And that is what our prophet teaches us. Our prophet has brought back the concept of knowing your value, knowing what your value is.
That's right.
All right? Because that is what happened to us in 1779. We were reduced to this chair. We were called black.
Right.
We were chattel property. For those that may not know what chattel property means, or what chattel means, that means that you are property, that you are an object, that you are disposable.
Right.
And that's carried over till today. So they're telling you that you being descendants of slaves, that you being under the name, under the status of Negro, black, or colored, or African American, is telling you that you're no higher than the chairs that you sit on. If we look at our skin is not the color of that chair. We are of an olive tone. From the tone of this sister and this brother over here to the tone of this sister and even darker. We are of an olive tone, woolly to wavy hair. Our prophet also told us that even though that we are classified as Moorish Americans in these United States of America, we have a whole Asiatic family.
That's right.
So it is our charge as Moorish Americans, it is our responsibility to link up and unite with those that are of like minds, so again that we can establish a legacy, so we can establish something for the babies and for our other families. That is what our prophet Noble Ali has returned back to us. That is the concept of nationality. All right? But going back to these principles, and that is truth. All right? We know that truth is one. We know that truth is Allah. Truth is the creator. If you're not familiar with him, or familiar with that name Allah. But we know that truth is the things that cannot change.
Right.
The fact that you are creations of Allah, that is something that no one can take away from you. They have attempted to take care of you, to take it away from you. But all praise is due to Allah that we've been received a prophet that was able to give that back to you. So we've received that truth. The truth is that you are loved. You are loved by yourself, if anything else. And that brings about peace. Think about when the last time you had peace. All right? Think about when the last time you were able to sit down and have some serenity with yourself. And you may not be able to, and you may not necessarily find that peace with yourself, but you can find peace with being around your loved ones. It's that peace knowing that everything is going to be all right, that everything is still. That Islam, which is our religion, our Islamism, that very word means peace. But this suffix right here means action. So it's the act of peace. Being in harmony with not just yourself, but your brother or your sister. Why so? Okay. That is our peace. So we strive as Moorish Americans to practice the religion of Islamism. Practice being in tune with our brothers and our sisters, wanting for them what we want for us.
That's right.
All right? And that brings about freedom. Are y'all with me? And all of this is divine because all of these are the principles of Allah. When we look at the degree of Muhammad, or as some would say Sunni Islam or Al-Islam, you have the 99 plus attributes of Allah. But these, and according to the Moorish doctrine, these are our attributes of Allah. And that freedom. And when we talk about freedom, we're talking about the ability to again leave a legacy behind. To have that responsibility to be able to raise your family, your brother and your sister, your children in the way that is successful to you. That is the way that is prosperous to you. Not anyone else. The ability to do so. Because right now, we may think that we're free. But as long as we leave our identities and the way that we operate to someone else, we are enslaved. As long as we allow that person to enslave us, that is a sin. Are y'all with me? All right. And that brings about justice. And justice, simply put, is meaning that you get out what you put in. When we talk about justice, we're talking about the things that you do towards your brother and sister that will get a positive result. We're talking about being righteous. And righteous means just doing what's right. And that is synonymous with justice. In the doctrine of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we have the degree of Jesus.
That's right.
We love Jesus.
Uh,
And that degree of Jesus, we also know it as the degree of justice.
That's right.
Because we know that he had to come down and he had to show us the way. He had to show us the word of Allah made manifest.
That's right.
He had to show us love.
That's right. Love.
So if you don't take anything away from these teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America, take away this, that we have a prophet, not just myself, not just the brothers and the brothers with the feathers on and the sisters with the turbans on. He's your prophet as well. Noble Drew Ali.
Come on now.
That's right.
$1888. 1886 points, so 1928 to 1929. He came to you at a time
That's right.
when you were considered less than nothing.
That's right.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
And he told you that you were more than that.
That's right.
That you were made from good stock.
Mm-hmm.
That you have the ability to change your situation. To change your state.
That's right.
He returned to you that power. We remember the time that we had power, even if it was something that we won, a basketball game, a football game, a video game, that we had that power.
Mm-hmm.
And then we remember what happened when we had that power taken away from us when we lost that video game or that basketball game.
Right.
But in the state of being Negro, black, and colored, it's unfortunate that we don't have the power to make the decisions that are within our benefit. But when you proclaim your nationality as Moorish American, you're saying that you have a stake in your legacy.
It's love.
Because you're saying that you are a person, you are a human being. You are a citizen, you are a member. You have just as right in contribution to the development in the place where you're domiciled, the place where you live, as anyone else. And don't let anybody tell you different.
Islam.
Islam? I had a different measure, but all praises are due to Allah. We wanted to get those that were unfamiliar with our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We wanted to get you well informed about what you're getting into. Let's go over a few house rules. A couple of house rules. First of all, make sure you check your phone, make sure they're on silent and vibrate. This is somewhat of an open forum, so after the speaker gives his demonstration and gives his lecture, he will open the floor for any questions. And being that this is a Moorish Science Temple of America meeting, we ask that we conduct ourselves as such. So if you do have a question, with the exception of the sister right here, because I know you're taking care of the little one, but for brothers, if you have a question, Islam, if you have a question, we ask that you rise and you put your feet at a 45-degree angle, 2 fingers closed on the right, 5 fingers open on the left, giving the highest of praise to Allah, or the great God. If you feel a little uncomfortable about using the word Allah, but we'll get into that later on, inshallah. And you're going to give the highest of honors to the holy and divine Prophet Noble Drew Ali. At that point, you'll be recognized and you'll be, you'll have the floor to ask your question or to give a statement. And we want you to feel welcome. We have this thing called call and response. So you're going to hear Islam all the time. And Islam just means that it can be used interjectively. So it can be used as a call to response, so that you're giving testimony to what a person is being said, or what is being said by that person. Islam?
Islam.
Praise to Allah. So Without any further delay, I will introduce our next speaker. How are y'all feeling?
Oh, it's
Wow.
Praise the Lord.
At this time, I will introduce our next speaker. I yield the floor to one of our faithful, one of our many faithful, Brother Akhenaten Haliym-Bey. Is it Bey? Islam. Okay, Islam. Okay.